point.
So open our meeting at whatever it is.
5:49.
5:49. It's the meeting of the RDIC on January 9th. First order of business is to review minutes of October 30th. Anybody have any comments on those? I have one, under new and old business update on Harmony Place. Mike shared that the town administrator's office had received a noise complaint, and it was actually the town clerk's office. Not that it really matters, but
Should be corrected.
it
though.
was the town clerk's office that I got a call from. Other than that, I had no issues.
Let's see.
Dick's got all kinds of scratching over there.
Yeah, scratching, movement of earth outside of the site would be a violation of town bylaw. Pete Crane has said.
Yep.
And I say, Doug Briggs said to me, trucks are leaving, going towards Paxton. So,
Oh, I'm sorry. So where are we, Dick?
on page 1.
Yep.
Let's, Tamika, how about writing down page numbers? Page 1, update on how many places in Rutland, the last little bit here, moving
Yep.
earth.
Bottom part of the paragraph.
Yes.
Yep.
Anyways, Doug Briggs says, yes, they were moving dirt out. So, maybe the people at Harmony did not know this because it was being done on the side and late at night and things like that.
So what are you suggesting, that we change Doug Briggs's, he doesn't really say anything.
He doesn't say anything in here. No, I went to see Doug Briggs on something else. And he happened to tell me about it.
So it was not part of this. So there's no reason to change
But
it.
to me, it was a violation.
Well, okay.
We'll bring it up during the meeting, though.
Yeah, we can't change these minutes. Okay, fine. Hold the thought and we'll talk about that. All right, what else you got?
Storage facility for business equipment. Have you heard anything more about that?
I'll get into that.
Okay,
Yep.
good. And other, they planned us for the select board, a joint meeting. And to me, if the select board want to get involved with us, help them fix the dam, because it's their responsibility. The dam is bad. Okay. October, how will RDIC function from this time on? That's my whole thing, because I just,
Okay, so the only change we're making is changing town administrator to town clerk. You're not asking us to change anything, correct?
nope.
Okay.
Motion,
Just-
oops, sorry, go ahead, dude.
Go ahead, no.
Gonna say motion to approve October 30 minutes with corrections.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. So unanimous of the
I have
members.
to abstain, because I wasn't at that meeting.
Oh, yes, you do have to sustain. So,
Abstain, not sustain.
sustain. So Tim, Mike, and Dick, well, Tamika, you've got it on.
Can you guys approve it though without,
3 of 5?
oh,
a
yeah.
majority.
Yeah, that's a majority. All right, I can count.
Okay,
I was thinking we needed 4.
so, the next order of business is an update on the HPDD site. And, I know I mentioned to you folks the last meeting we had, in fact, it's kind of discussed in our minutes about, are we meeting enough? Are we exchanging? Am I giving you guys as much information as you think you need? And it seemed as though at that meeting, everybody was happy. So I'm gonna go in front of the planning board tonight for the zoning change that I think we're all aware of. Maybe we should just talk about that, just so the public is. There is a snafu in the way the phased growth bylaw was written that penalizes the HBDD site for senior housing building permits. So I have asked the planning board to schedule a public hearing so that we can change that zoning at the next town meeting, which is in February 9th,
15th.
15th.
I think it's 15th.
So there's a public hearing tonight for that, which I'm gonna go to, and obviously everybody's welcome to join as well. So does anybody have any questions about that, what we're talking about here?
I still ask, where the heck did it come from?
I don't know where it came from
Being
either.
on that board, I don't ever remember that last part ever.
I can't for the life of me imagine how anybody would want that there. It makes absolutely no sense.
Paradox of the whole document, so.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, but it penalizes the HBDD site and encourages private building.
Which was never the intent.
No, of course
Right.
not. So,
Ridiculous.
so we'll go to that meeting tonight, or I'll go if you folks want to come, fine. And I think we'll proceed with that, and we'll discuss it at the town meeting. And you have to remember, it takes 2/3 to change zoning, so we gotta, pay attention to that. So that's what that's all about. From this, that's probably the most important thing, update that I have for the group. Just as an aside to all of this, the I don't know whether they call themselves Harmony Place or Harbor Classic Homes, but I'm just gonna call them HCH since I don't know. They had a pre-sales meeting here, I think it was the week before Christmas. And I was asked to come and introduce them and put on a 2-minute dog and pony show, which I did. And I was stunned at the number of people. That
I was shocked when
room,
I saw it.
Sorry.
I was shocked when I saw it on TV. I watched the meeting, I was like, holy cow.
I counted about 70 people, and I think there were more than that. And they did a nice job and put together a nice presentation. They had, not slides, but, big displays of, footprints and so on and so forth. At the end of that meeting, there were 3 people that said they were interested in buying right there, and whether they did or not, I don't know. But as an aside to that, I spoke with their attorney today about something completely different to do with finances, getting them to pony up some money for engineering services. And he said he wouldn't swear to it, but he thought they had sold 5 so far and have a bunch of interest on others. So
Nice.
that's pretty encouraging. I really hope they do well and, the project really takes
What was their
off.
first phase, just 40?
I don't remember.
Something,
Tim.
it was something like
I think
that.
it's
It was-
38, whatever,
Yeah,
it's about that
yeah.
number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about that number.
Excellent.
And so I was there today, and like I said, just showed you in the pictures there, they've capped, well, I shouldn't say they capped, they had all the floor joists in on the first unit, all of the lumber is there, you can
Oh, yeah.
see for walls and plywood, and so I'm expecting, depends on the weather, but, within the next week or so, there should be a structure there that looks like something someone might want to live in. In addition to that, they were working on the site as well. I could see excavators moving out back, and I typically drive around the other way, and I try to, but they've got a, I don't even know what to call it. Concom would mean something to you. It's, kind of like stone this big, like a windrow across the road as some sort of sediment containment, I'm sure. So
Yeah, a
you can't-
barrier.
Yeah, you can't drive up there any longer, but I could see,
You could not drive up there, huh?
you can't get much further than the flagpole.
Then that was after the wife and I went up that way, because.
It
I-
looked brand fresh, yeah, it looked
okay,
fresh.
and, yeah, all right.
So, but you could see where they were moving dirt, and I
Yeah.
know they're putting the water lines in, the sewer lines in, and, all of that, so they're continuing on their end while their contractor is doing.
From a site standpoint, Mike, I was impressed. It's better than some of what I've seen in Rutland before. Clean, no silt running in the middle of the road or any of that stuff. They're doing a phenomenal job.
The most incredible thing to me is if you look at the amount of rain we had in the last,
Yeah.
since April,
Yeah.
when they broke ground.
There's nothing.
And I can't think of a subdivision that ever opened that amount of soil on that kind of slope
Yeah.
in the history of this town.
And didn't wash out.
And there has not been one single violation that I'm aware of that the Concom has had to deal with, so.
That's Mike why I wanted to bring it up, because I was
Main
thoroughly
Street.
impressed when I did the drive round up there. No washouts, no, I mean, we've seen on some of the
silt in the
subdivision where it looks
pond.
like the silt's all across the road and it's gotta
Yeah.
be cleaned. None of that, not an ounce.
No,
Yeah.
they've done a great job.
Yeah. I agree.
So that's kind of that's the best I can give you on what I know of what's going there, on there. They've been very cooperative. The building inspector is still trying to work through some of the logistics of what he wants and what they're giving him, but they'll get through that. I'm staying out of that.
And this is a question I'm asking if you know, is the HPDD engaged Kevin Quinn as their,
Kevin Quinn has inspected already.
Okay,
At my request, I called Kevin. Anyway, I got John to arrange for him to go, and that's
Okay.
part of the discussion I was having with the attorney today. They have some concerns about a blank check to an engineer, but we're working through that. It's just,
But
They
Tamika,
don't-
get that in there, please.
what's that?
Tamika, get that in there into the minutes
What's that?
about Quinn.
Oh, Quinn's been there. Quinn
Yeah.
was there. I went there when they were just doing the final grading of the roadway, the gravel. No, even before the gravel, they had done the grading and they were just starting to spread gravel, and they were putting. I'm way out of my league now. What looked like black plastic underneath the gravel. So I don't know what that's for, but obviously there was a reason for it. And I called Kevin and told him that. He said, I'll be up there the next day. And he went up the next day, said, what they're doing is perfect. They're doing a great job. I'm happy. And I think he's been there once since. But he's been there before the pavement was done and while the pavement was being done, and had soil compaction done as well.
yeah, from Yankee, everybody goes to
Right.
Yankee.
So he's happy, so
Yeah.
we should be happy.
I just, Mike, the slope and everything, those people are gonna have zero problems with water anywhere in
Oh, yeah.
those houses. It's just phenomenal how they graded it, but it's got that, what I call the road slope to it,
Yeah.
around the property, and then that'll go, of course, in the retention ponds.
Yeah.
I'm just thoroughly impressed.
Site work is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've done a great job. So I don't really have anything else to tell you about.
Well, then I
the site.
do.
Okay, that's
When I
why we're
drove-
here.
When I drove up, first thing that I noticed, they got a little chips where you go down to the old. Hi, looking for something?
No, just like the countryside meeting?
Countryside meeting?
Countryside Estates?
No, not here.
Planning board, maybe?
Countryside Estates. Are you talking about over at the Heights?
Yeah, yeah,
Come on in. Sit down over there, please.
Are you sure we're talking about the same thing? The Rutland Heights Hospital?
No, no, no.
Property?
No, Countryside Estates, the
Okay, yeah.
the condos, they have a meeting
Yeah,
second
no,
Tuesday.
that's not
Okay,
it.
no,
Oh, that's
I
not
thought-
us. No,
That's why I
no.
say they're Heights, because
Okay,
that's
gotcha,
what we're
gotcha.
talking about.
All right,
Sorry.
No, no worries.
All right. Meanwhile, first time in there, I looked down the road to the old dump.
Yep,
Wasn't mowed
okay. Has to be mowed every 2 years.
every 2 years, so we gotta stay on top of it. That's the town function,
Yep. It was mowed last year.
but not this year.
Correct. But,
Correct,
so
yes.
it must be done this year. Right,
Yes.
I'm with you.
Okay.
So,
Second.
Tamika, can you put that in the minutes to make sure we put that on a calendar somewhere to make sure we get DPW on board to
Mowing.
mow that next year?
This year.
This year, correct.
Yeah. Second, as I brought up, the town's responsible for that dam. I wanna make sure that it's okay.
How do we do that?
Ask the select board. It's their responsibility.
But that's an RDIC's preview, correct? So we
Town
can,
responsibility of the dam.
no, I meant, but since it's on the RDIC
Yeah,
property,
It's for us to deal with it.
yeah, exactly, that's
My
what I was,
question is who tells us what's wrong with it and what do we need to do to fix it?
that's where I would say,
DCR is in charge of all dams. Anyways, you call them and ask them about the dam at the Rutland Heights Hospital, and they'll tell you that it's failed.
Yeah, well, we
and
all know
jazz
that.
And what it
But
is.
somebody's gonna need an engineering report on what it is,
Right,
what needs to be
that's-
done, and cost estimates, and, does it need to be done in 5 years, 2 years, a year, 10 years? That type of documents,
Yeah, and
basically a report,
And I
a study
think
report.
I don't think it was Joe Buckley. I think it was Gary. Yeah, him.
Kelleher.
Yeah, that character who fixed it for us once, way back, and I mean way back.
I think you're right.
So I feel that before something with, especially with all the rains we've had and everything else, I want to stay on top of it.
Yeah.
And to me, it might be DPW there again, but I don't know.
Well, it doesn't hurt to ask the select board.
They're not gonna have a clue.
No, not to do anything.
No,
but-
No, but they
no
should-
offense to the select board, they're just not gonna know what to do with a
Well,
dam.
But
My thought process was to ask them to either pull a report from the DPW, or have Chris pull the report from the DPW, or who did the last inspection, and proceed with that for an update right now, because I'd go back to the same guys who did it 4 or 5 years
Well,
ago.
it was DCR, was it not?
DCR, they go around to all dams and give a score on them, and that one failed.
So they must have an engineering wing that does that then, like the Army Corps of
tell you.
Engineers who used to do all that stuff. I'm just trying to get, because Dick, I don't think anything will get done unless you get a study or some type of report. Because
Oh,
it'll
no,
just
I
be
agree with
talk.
that.
It'll just be talk until that gets done. And I
And a
think
lot
it
of
has to be
dams
done.
are being taken down, but for us in this town here, I think that pond of water's been fantastic for people that have been fishing in there, and I don't want to lose it. So that's why I want to make sure it keeps up.
You don't want it to become Eagle Lake?
Say-
And with the beavers doing the
Eagle
dam work,
puddle.
I don't
Yeah.
mind that, because they're doing a good job.
I got about 15 behind me I can send over there.
Send them over, please.
Them boys are looking for another place because, they're out of territorial area.
Okay, there's one more thing that I noticed. Okay.
I'm still trying to bring
All right.
back, I remember many years ago.
And Chris went down there with loads of gravel,
Yeah,
filled it in
Yeah.
and packed it down and all that jazz, and it's been working good. But I don't know what the conditions of it are right now, or how DCR.
it might not hurt for me to touch base with Gary Kelleher just to see what he remembers, because I don't, I remember it in broad terms.
I would contact Chris,
Okay, fine.
because I
Yeah.
believe.
No,
it was-
that's where to start.
Yeah,
You're right.
Chris was the one that did the
Yeah.
work on it.
And I don't want to step on his toes either.
Gary being retired.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Good point.
It could be as easy enough, Mike, as there's a file in the DPW. Listen, I gotta hope, because our planning board planners, especially Dave, had put together such a great filing system, and now John's following it up. So maybe we could use him as an example for other.
Okay,
Anyhow, off topic.
I'll talk to Chris about that.
Okay, thank you. And the one last thing that I saw, and I had not known that they were gonna do anything with it, but the top part of the wishing well's been snapped off and sitting there. Have they dug it out?
The well itself
The well itself,
was filled a long time ago.
I know it was filled a long time ago. But was
And
it
their
empty?
intention with the remnants of the wishing well is to put it up by the community building. We should come up with a
Yeah.
name for that, so we call it right. And it's gonna become a fire pit.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think so.
too, but there again, I would say, I would like to know if there's any monies that are in the bottom of that thing, and be careful, because it might be worth money.
It's probably filled up. They filled it with sand like they did my aunts when they filled up.
Gary filled that
He probably just dumped
10 years ago. He just dumped.
Rocks.
rocks and sand and pulled a dump truck up and sealed it, capped it, so to
But
speak.
that, I was gonna say something that I'm not sure is true. I don't even think we own that anymore. That,
No, it's on their property
Right.
now, because that property all of a sudden expanded hugely from what I thought was gonna be the bounds. Turned out not to be the bounds at all. They've gone extra, maybe 150 50 to 200 feet.
So they can hire the Oak Island guys and turn them loose.
Yeah,
Well, I remember we talked to Gary about going up there with their vacuum cleaner machine. And I don't know why he didn't do it, or
because of the rocks that were in there.
oh, they were too big.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, I'll talk to Chris about the dam. I don't know
Okay.
what to tell you about the well.
Well, when you talk to the owners,
Just make sure they got a place to
Well,
store
the
it.
excavators
and not-
around there, if they're down there close, maybe the best thing to do is dig it up and let's find out. And let them get a hold of historic, because that's where I wanted this. If they found money, that's where I wanted it to go to, was the Historic
Yeah.
Society.
I got a feeling it's capped and you'll never see it again.
Yeah.
I do too. I have a question for you, though. I remember, and it might even been before, how long have you been on the RDIC?
I have no idea, it's quite a while.
When the buildings were being taken down, there were certain plaques and so on and so forth that
That they
we,
moved up behind the historic wood studio and all
yeah.
that.
Do we have any idea where those are now?
They're mostly there, I thought.
have
I don't
no
know if there's, Scotty Davis, I'd probably get a hold of Scott and ask
I know
him.
that
Will you take that on? Will you look into that? Because, I mean, I think it would be nice if we knew where they are and what they are, because maybe they take, an appropriate plaque and they put it where the pickleball court's gonna be on a stone or something, as a historic preservation of the hospital property.
I know the cupola was given to the fire brigade to put on the old fire station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I remember, that's about the only thing I know that was outside of the historical society.
It'd be interesting. I know that there's, like 3 or 4 different plaques that are up behind the Woods house. So I don't know how many there were originally.
I can get you some boiler plaques that were torn down out there. That,
All right, will you look at that
I'll-
just to,
I'll call Scott.
okay. All right, that's all I've got on the hospital, or we got stuck with that too. The HPDD site, that's all I got. Anybody, anything else?
No, and I just feel that, yes, I think, especially with when you started to say, you talked to us about, somebody wanted to put a construction type building or whatever.
That was next on my agenda.
Okay, fire away then.
Okay, good with the HPDD site. So, what Dick's referring to is if you were to look back at our minutes, the last minutes, the inquiry for land purchase, I discussed in some amount of detail about a contact that was made to me by a Rutland resident who has a business, I think it's in Leicester, he's busting at the seams and was interested in possibly a piece of property at the hospital. And during that discussion, I reminded everybody that, I gotta say, 2 years ago, this board discussed what do we want to do with the other parcels, and we all, I think it was unanimously agreed that we should do nothing for the time being until the senior housing gets well established, and then there may be all kinds of different uses for that property than there is today. So I got a call again from this gentleman just in the last week or two saying, hey, has anything changed? Is it the same? Because I'm looking at a piece of property. I'll get to that in a second. So let me just share with you, and he's okay with me revealing what his business is. The name of his company is Kiwi, K-I-W-I, Chimney. And when so I asked him to just put together a little summary of what he wanted to do that I could share with you folks and make sure that we're still in agreement that the position we took a couple of years ago is the right one. So he did this for me, and he says, I moved to the United States in 2006. While working in the chimney industry for 2 years, I realized there was an opportunity for me. In 2009, I started Kiwi Chimney. He's from New Zealand or Australia, thus the name Kiwi. My wife and I built a home in 2012 in Rutland. This was a seamless process working with Jim Soucy, been active members of the community through sport and other activities. Kiwi Chimney has sponsored the Little League and local schools for many years. We love Rutland, exclamation point. Since then, my business has grown to the point of expansion. I currently employ 9 staff. We are expecting to increase soon. We work out of a 12,000 square foot building and it's bursting at the seams. The reason for this information is to ask the town of Rutland if there may be any suitable land to help me expand my operation. I'm planning to build a 5,000 to 6,000 square foot building. Excuse me, I said 12,000 square foot, 1,200 square foot building is what he's in now. Okay? So he's looking to build something 5,000 to 6,000 square feet. That would give me the space to expand my current business and have room for another business I own. 3,500 square feet for one, 2,500 square feet for the other. Kiwi Chimney would take most of the space. This has employees arriving at 6:45 and back to the premises around 3:30 most days. I've expanded into the promotional apparel industry. Kiwi Promotional Company was created in 2023. I worked in this industry for 8 years and it felt like a good way to expand my business portfolio. Company would take approximately 2,500 square feet and would include retail operations, warehouse, storage, dispatch, and shop front. This is the retail part of the business I'm talking about. The retail part would give customers a place to visit and buy their product. I'd like to ask you some of the land available on 56 where the old hospital was next to Bill Garage. 2 to 3 acres would fulfill my needs. Thanks for taking the time to consider my request. The gentleman's name is Brad Joyce, and he's a real gentleman. He's a very, very nice guy.
Mike, I would change my whole position if there was 2 to 3 acres on the left side. I wouldn't even flinch at saying, yep, if we could work him into that left side, take advantage of it now. The right, I don't know what the rest of the board is, but I'd like to save that to see what happens when the senior center kicks off. Do we put a nice retail type of situation there? But from his position to bring business into town, I think this would be a great opportunity for the left side, or towards Paxton, to see if we could break something out and get something to him.
All right, so let's do this. Let's have this discussion focus on parcels.
Okay.
So, what's everybody's opinion of what Tim is saying about the?
Whatever, is that parcel A,
I
B,
know.
C?
We understand what he's talking about, the left side.
Yeah.
But isn't the problem there, though, with the wetlands? and-
No, but let's talk about the
Yeah.
other side first. The cleared site that doesn't have issues. Let's call it the Mosio property.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
But let's come up with a name because it's not fair to Mosio to keep doing that.
What lot do we call it? A, B,
That's
1, 2?
that's what we got to figure out.
I wish it was something easy.
I could probably do it, but so anyway, well, let's hear everybody's thoughts on that.
On that parcel, I would love to see a brand new pharmacy put in down there.
No, but let's just-
But it depends who's gonna go in there. Like, we
Yeah, I know.
can want something, but we've gotta have somebody that wants it.
Let's just talk about this opportunity. Do
Yeah.
we think that's appropriate
Yes,
for the right side of the road?
No.
right side, no.
Okay.
How many acres are on the right side?
Well,
I'm gonna say-
there's probably five.
Five.
So
Five
there's
buildable.
5, and he
yes.
wants
5
2
trees.
out of the
2 to
5.
3,
2 to 3 out of the 5, so half of it.
half
Yeah.
of it, yeah. And that'll be tough for anybody else to put anything else in it if that's, when I say tough, if you want to put in multiple retail facilities on 2 to 3 acres, could be done, but would be tough,
It's better to have it one big strip than having it be,
broken up.
I know what you're saying.
See, the first thing that goes through my mind, that type of person come in, I would like to see him on the
Left side.
left
side.
side, over the sewer line, the main sewer line, where the old rose garden used to be. If he could go in that area, would be nice.
You mean down by the sidewalk, like right,
Sidewalks
In
is
the
on the
front.
right-hand side, and when you get pretty close to the bridge, it's before then.
yep.
But isn't that too close to, I mean, you
I
got
don't know.
a
But
200
I
foot
think-
buffer there.
Yeah,
It's
no,
the
I think
wetlands.
it's the wetlands that's gonna, I don't think he can get 2.5 acres in there for,
I keep thinking, and again, I don't, without seeing the drawings again, I thought the best opportunity for this gentleman is up front on the left side by, the fence, basically, that area where that was a company was gonna go in there and do telemarketing or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
This seems like a good replacement for that. I mean, he can
But
pull
they-
in, he can put a driveway for retail, and he's got his manufacturing facilities and buildings.
But
So-
the
We need to
reason
have
why
a
they
map.
didn't build there is
We need
because
to
they
have
couldn't
it
have the
drawn
parking
up
lot.
to show where the bounds are.
There's, it's too wet in there. That was the whole reason why they had to go to the other side.
But they wanted a larger building than what he's asking for. He's only asking for a max of 6,000 square feet. I thought they were in the 20,000 square foot range. The
other guys?
yeah, they were in a huge.
Oh, yeah.
They wanted to build a huge office complex.
Right, but I thought they were more up, they're multi-level, no?
I
Wasn't it gonna be
They were
2
2
stories?
stories.
It was gonna be a
Okay.
2-story building,
Yeah.
so I don't think the footprint would be any different.
It would be more of a somebody would have to do a little pre-engineering.
See, the problem,
But I think it's an opportunity that I don't want to pass up because we need business in town. And this
Yeah.
is, if we could work it into the left side and he'd be amicable to do that, I would
if
say
it
make it
wasn't for the
happen.
fact he was gonna have a showroom, the best spot for him, and it's too bad, I don't know whether it's 200 foot or what a 100-foot line is. If you know where Tom Richala's, folks' home is, it sits back there. It's
Oh, I see what you're saying.
right in there, for crying out loud, is a perfect spot, it's high, it's no wetlands involved there, it's up on the hill. And,
Well, you say there's no wetlands there.
well, the wetland, the pond is the wetland.
The pond
And the connector.
and the
But
pipe.
And the pipe is considered the wetland too, that's what we
But-
ran into trouble with the,
But it's a pipe underground.
Yeah.
But it's considered a tributary.
yep. That
But
was the problem with the first one.
But it's not 200 foot.
No, but you have to have a buffer, yeah, that was a,
You can do easements and right of ways. That's doable. I've been doing that now with Eversource on my stuff for the last 2 years. I don't want to pass up an opportunity
Well,
on the left side to try to work something in because we don't get something. He's small enough that it's a possibility. He's not asking for a lot and he's a business. I just think it's a, I don't
And he
know.
wants it in town
He
here,
wants it in
Yeah.
town.
not out of town.
I don't wanna
Not
push
out
him
of
away.
68.
I don't want to push him
Oh,
away.
no. That's the other thing I told him, that the town has many other parcels that may be appropriate for him. And that I suggested he talk to the town administrator about that.
but I know why he wants it there. If he's doing printing, you've got traffic,
Yeah.
you've got the school right there because they make the sweatshirts for all the sports teams, they make the t-shirts and the jackets, and I understand why they wanna be there in town, it makes perfect sense.
This is my opinion. I think we should look into it. I guess maybe that's the best way to
Yes.
handle it. Because I don't think, again, this is my opinion and maybe I'm shooting from the hip. This is an opportunity to use what I consider that left side is really a tough sell to possibly sell it.
Okay, so we all agree the right side is out.
Oh, I agree.
We all agree with that?
Yep.
Okay.
Why?
Well,
Because
Why?
we want other things to go in there, but how, I guess, are we sure the other things will go in there?
well,
I believe
We were-
when somebody sees 140 houses or 130 houses,
We'll get more
that's going to be a
interest in-
financial
okay.
opportunity that no one's going to pass up. That's
Got
my
it.
opinion.
Okay,
And if
Well,
the town's
that-
smart enough, they put their new senior center up there.
well.
I don't think
see,
we
I
can.
personally think the senior center should go where you're talking about, on the left side.
I could,
Or if that parcel can be used for recreation, maybe it becomes a recreational building that has exterior bathrooms and so on and so
Yeah.
forth, so the kids are playing soccer and they can use that.
Yeah.
Or a senior center. So, all right, so we all agree, all right, so,
I just don't think they're right. I think there's just too much opportunity for the RDIC in 2 years, 3 years to do well in getting the right person or right persons into that property.
well, it's kind of, I look at it very similarly to what happened on the site that's being developed now. I mean, think back to the first offer we got on that property of whatever it was, I don't remember, $765,000 or something like that. And there was some that said, look, take it, let's do it, and we, I think we.
Negotiated it up.
Well, we used good judgment and ended up with a we think a very good partner that has been so far very good to the town with we've paid the thing off and made
Yeah.
$1 million on top of it with, to say nothing of the, the $150,000 in site, $101.5 million in site improvements, between the road, no, it's more than that, $2.5 million between the road, the water line, and the sewer line.
Yeah.
To say nothing of the utilities on top of that. So, the town is way ahead by $3 million probably on that site right now. So I don't see the urgency because we've paid the note off.
That's what I was gonna get at, Mike. There's no debt right now.
Right.
It's all gravy.
We've got money in the bank, and I think, my personal opinion is that a better opportunity is gonna come for that in a retail environment than I don't know what you call this,
Printing
industrial or
shop and-
commercial.
Well, that's why I would think.
But I do think we should try to help him find another place. But again, now we get back to this whole, where do our responsibilities lie? Because I was told very clearly that it lies on the hospital site only by the last select board.
But
That was the last select board. This new board hasn't made a decision yet, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
No, that's right. That's in
And maybe we
these
talk to
minutes.
and maybe we talk to the new select board about that and say, hey, this is what,
I still think we should at least investigate on the left side, see if it's possible. That's my.
Definitely.
But, that's
I
gonna
get it.
require some money, because we're gonna have to have it surveyed, we're gonna have to have it, the wetlands delineated, which is fine.
Can we pull the old
Wasn't
one,
that
Mike,
already
from?
done?
Yeah, can we pull the old one from when the?
What I'd like to see happen is find out whether the town can move that pipe. Take the pipe when it comes through Rochelle's fence.
Yeah.
Take a left turn and go right down the fence line, which moves it, I don't know how far, 150 feet away from, moves it to the perimeter of our land,
Yeah.
which then moves our whole
Yes.
wetland delineation.
Can I ask how? And again, I don't remember how big is it. 16 inches, 20.
The
inches?
pipe?
Yeah.
it's
Oh, no,
all
it's not.
12?
Maybe.
Well,
it's,
12
it
inches.
might,
Maybe.
12 to 16 in that
it's not a
neighborhood.
big
Let me
pipe.
just say, from my experience, that is way doable. That's
Well,
not
I think
a,
the town can do it.
yeah. Well, that's what I'm getting at. This isn't like you've got to have a specialized company come in to do that for a
All
12
it's
inch.
doing is moving the, the flow from one place to another, it's ending
Correct.
up in the same place.
Exactly, yeah.
But I'm just gonna, doesn't it involve DCR somehow though? Cause aren't they the
Well,
ones
yeah,
that do
probably.
the
Their
wetland
watershed,
thing?
It's zone A,
Yes.
watershed.
But I can't imagine what their argument would be.
No,
First off, you're putting in new pipe.
yeah,
Well, yeah, and who knows what it is? Might even
Correct.
be asbestos pipe for all we know.
yeah.
Yeah, and you're going to have to, that pipe will still say active that's there. They'll put in a bypass of pipe around it with a shut off or something.
Yeah.
And then when they get it in, test it.
It goes into a big cistern right now. Goes
Oh.
into a
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah,
6-foot square, I don't know,
Like a
it's
tank.
not a catch basin, but it's
yeah.
right behind the state building, whatever that thing is.
Who do
called.
we start that talk with? Is that the select board too? Or is that
No.
the DCR?
And watershed.
No, I think we need to just, if this is what we want to do, we need to do it. It's our responsibility.
Okay, great.
The property is our responsibility, so
Correct.
let's keep it that way. I mean,
I'm good with that.
I
Okay.
just think you muddy the waters and,
Well, I would think we would wanna do that anyway, even if we're talking about using it for recreation or a senior center
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. So it sounds like something we should investigate sooner rather than later anyway.
Mhm.
Right?
Great.
Well, yes, is that something Kevin can do for us, or is that out of his expertise? Or is this who's the guys that,
they
They-
delineated the wetlands once before.
Yes.
What's
We've
the
had
name of the
that done.
guys? Not Yankee, well, does it all in the town.
You're talking New England,
Yeah.
Julian Petruba?
No. No, this is,
No.
this is guys, that's all they do is wetland delineation.
I'll
Doesn't
think-
matter, we can.
Yeah,
I've got
yeah,
my
yeah,
finder
yeah.
at home, I'll look it up.
Okay, all right, and then we'd have, for the piping design and stuff like that, that's a Weston and Sampson type of person, not a Kevin Quinn. Okay.
Right.
I think we should start putting together a plan to get that rolling.
would you take that on?
Sure, I can do that.
You know, just in broad terms.
Yeah.
You know, you've got.
I talked to Chris.
But
and,
you've got the engineering background to be
Yeah.
able to.
I just need
and
to
you got
get
the
all the
planning board.
drawings and all that stuff, take a look at it, and then talk to Chris. What's the best opportunity to move forward? How do we do this? What does the town want to do? We want to make sure we're not going to cause him headaches.
Well, I think
But it's
the
on us to do it.
DCR, we could, you know, I think we could make it more attractive to DCR by saying, for instance, we're gonna clear all the trees around the pond, which is then gonna, you know, allow for better watershed and blah, 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 which also benefits, you know, does what we wanna do as well.
Correct, yeah.
So I think if we kinda,
Well, that's something like
I was gonna say
Mike.
dangle
I've
a
done that
carrot,
with Eversource when I tell my AEs that I want to have benefits. So when I go before the towns or the cities, I've got a story to tell.
yeah, exactly.
So, and that's something that my AEs have been really good about helping me out. So that's the first thing I say to Weston and Sampson. We need to put together a plan with a story of how we're going to improve this by putting this pipe in.
Yeah.
So, okay, yep. I'll talk to Chris. I'll start it out with Chris.
Well, I can tell you absolutely positively that the water line, the drain that goes from in front of our showers through the fence, goes behind the
Yeah, daycare center.
daycare center or whatever.
Yep.
you know,
The other.
And in their backyard, there's a cement gizmo, like 5 foot square maybe,
Yeah.
that we pulled the cover off of it. The town brought their water tanker trailer down there, dumped it in up by Rashala's house, and just let it fly. It then came into that, and then we went down to the pond and we watched it then go into the pond. So there is no question
Okay.
where it goes.
Well, my question would just to get me in the ballpark. Does the DPW have all those drawings, or is he going to say that we got them?
I don't know.
I might have, because I think we did have some kind of drawings from before. I'll look and see what I've got.
Okay.
Because I've saved all my old, from when that associate's place was
gotta
going
get
in there.
rolling.
Yeah, I know. I just saw that.
What time is it?
6:30.
31.
Okay. Let me
Well,
look at, if I've got that, I'll give it all to you.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't have a problem talking to Chris and getting the right contacts and then getting in touch with those contacts. But I want to get the I think Weston and Sampson's the best contact to start out with. And then put that story together. Then you're going to have to go before the DCR.
Do
Gonna
you
have
need
to-
Weston and Sampson for where it's not sewer or water, it's just drainage? I don't think you do.
Okay.
I think.
I
Quinn
can talk
do
to
that.
Kevin.
Yeah, I think.
Look,
Quinn can do
well,
that.
let me do that first. Then I'll
Okay.
talk to Kevin.
Did I hear a motion to adjourn?
Yes, I did. Just motion. to
Second.
adjourn.
Second. Okay.
You're gonna shut that off now?
I mean, once you adjourn, yes.
We've adjourned.
Okay.
Motion-
Second. I
All
seconded it.
approve.
Aye.
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 Voted.